And we're live.
All right. So we're back this week with another great topic and a great live. This one is just a common ongoing questions with dogs. Get it all the time about dogs jumping in general, whether they're jumping on guests coming in a home, jumping on other people on walks, jumping on you when you're in a house. Dogs jumping seems to be a big ongoing problem. Um, and I would say, as far as dogs jumping, usually we train them to sit and stay and stuff like that. But I think the problem comes in, and why I'm getting the question so much is because depending on why your dog is jumping, there's different things you can do. But what I wanted to do is talk to them about a game that you can start your dog on that starts to work on some type of impulse control so your dog can understand that they shouldn't be jumping and staying. But with that being, so let's talk about Archie for a second. Is he a big jumper?
He used to be, when he was a puppy, he was a big jumper. As he was getting bigger,
Yeah.
which was a problem because he's a big guy. So
Yeah.
we had to work with that. He's still, if he is someone that he's known since puppyhood and they
Yep.
allowed him to jump when he was a puppy, he'll still do it.
Yes.
But otherwise, anyone new or anything like that, he's generally pretty good. But I noticed that, like, if it's someone that he knew, like, from basically when we brought him home,
Yep.
if they give him that sort of like leeway, then he'll look to jump still.
Oh yeah,
Um,
give them an inch, they take a mile. Yeah.
so he sees the opening, to like go for it. So,
Yep.
but
Yep.
like, yeah, but like, why do you like? I guess is there a
Why
reason
do
they
they
jump,
jump?
or is why do they jump and that sort of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no. So dogs essentially jump because they find it fun. And if you think about it, we're actually playing into that fun because what do we do as soon as a dog jumps on us? We're like, no, 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 get down. They're like, woo, woo. They like that. It's fun. And so they continue to do it. And the more they practice the behavior, the more they're going to do it. And so anytime we're like pushing them away and doing things like talking to them and stuff, that's engaging in the fun. And so that's why they essentially continue to do it. And puppies, ideally, they do it for the same reason. But if you think about it, puppies are very sporadic. So they jump no matter what, just because they're all over the place. And so, tied into us kind of helping them engaging in that jumping when we think we're doing the best thing by like pushing them down. And then between the excitement of dogs in general, that's essentially why they jump. And so, like I said, far as a training standpoint, you want to train them to sit and stay so they're not jumping. So when they do jump, you turn around, you say sit and stay. But a lot of times, you want to get them in the habit of working on their impulse, them being excitable and stuff like that. So one game that you can play with the dogs, and essentially I started this by playing it with a lot of my families, with it, giving it to the kids, but then I thought to myself, the adults can do it too. So what I want to talk to you about is the helicopter game. Okay.
okay,
So what that game does is it works on your dog's impulse control not to jump. So what you want to do, you take a little piece of kibble, right? Your dog's already going to be staring at you, whatever. You're going to take the kibble in your hand and you're going to slowly raise it up. That's going to cause your dog to jump, right? And
yeah,
so when your dog's going to jump. So you're going to continue raising it. And then when your dog sits back down, start to lower your hand. Okay. And then if your dog jumps again, you make it go back up. Okay. And then you lower it back down, as long as they're sitting. And so what ends up happening is when your dog jumps, the helicopter goes up. When your dog sits, it goes down. But then what your dog starts to realize is like, hey, if I just sit when the helicopter goes down, I get to the treat a lot quicker. And so not your dog only gets the treat when they are sitting. You lower your hand down, then voila, you get the treat. You get the next treat, you hold it up. Belong to your dog sitting, you can lower the helicopter. If Archie jumps again, it goes back up. And then they just learn like they get the treat a lot faster than when they're sitting. And that helps them work on an impulse control. Because then what you'll notice is you'll go to put the treat up, they're like, nope, not falling for that. I'll just sit here and wait for it to, sit there. And so when you work on your dog's impulse control, not to be so impulsive to get to things and just wait, and whether that's them waiting for food, waiting for you to toss a toy, that's working on their impulse control, and that can all come in handy when they're not jumping. Have you tried anything like that with Archie?
I haven't done that. It sounds awesome though. Like the way you explain it, like just the
Yeah,
logic behind it. Like we've done impulse control as far as like put the treat on his paw and leave it and that sort of thing, and then he
that
has to like
too. Yep,
wait for
yep,
a certain amount of time and everything. But
yep.
going up and down and just sort of like, and we know when we raise, usually when you raise your hand, or that is the time the sign for sit too. So it's kind of like it makes sense and everything.
Yes.
And
Yep.
no, that's I haven't
Yep.
tried it, but I wish I knew about it before.
Exactly, exactly. And the pause one's a good one too. Like
Yeah,
I would start off with the helicopter, airplane,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it for your kids or yourself. And then the paw one, I always call that one the advanced one because if you can have a treat sit on your dog's paw and them not go for it, that's some real impulse control. So you can eventually
yeah,
lead up to that, but then just start with the helicopter game. And also just a little thing about jumping. Just know if you're starting to begin working on jumping, it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. Okay. And that's what any type of training, help the dog understand what you expected from them, go through the, whole notions of training. And then once they start to understand, it will start to get better. And I always talk about consistency, staying consistent. And that's going to be the key to kind of bringing this all together. But hopefully you have learned about the helicopter game and you're like sitting there like, oh my God, why didn't I think about that? And hopefully you got all the little steps down. You're going to work on it with your dog so they're not jumping. And hopefully you can start. I mean, you say Archie's not jumping anymore, but if you have friends with jumpy dogs, you can put that into
yeah.
play too,
Oh
Scott.
yeah, oh yeah,
Hopefully.
definitely. Like I think
Yeah,
like even with like the family members that come by that have known him from since we've
exactly.
started then and work on it, those sort of things will be really helpful. So like
Yes,
there's always instances you can put into play. But yeah,
yes. Kids come, that's what Scott was saying. If you have family coming over, especially kids, give them something to do with the dog instead of them
yeah,
chasing, pulling, and stuff like that. The helicopter game's a perfect game. Like I said, I started off with kids doing that in training, but it works for everyone and they think it's so cute. And they already like teasing the dog, and that's what they think they're doing, but in
it's
reality,
true.
they're training. So
Yeah.
give that to your kids as something to do. Scott, do you have anything to piggyback before we hop
No,
off?
I think like that is an awesome game. We'd love to hear if you try it with your dog. Drop it in the comments. Let us know how you went. If any questions, we'd just love because it's such a I don't
Mhm.
want to say basic game, but it's like it's a fundamental game, right? Where it really works on those fundamentals. And so,
Yeah,
especially with impulse control, that building that into your dog as you're training them when they're especially when they're young, so many benefits. Just
yeah,
jumping is one of them, but there's so many other benefits too. So if you do try it, we'd
exactly.
love to hear it in the comments how it went.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you have other ideas that I'm always open to other ideas. If you have something that you've tried that I have not mentioned, throw that in the comments. I'm always like to hear like new interesting things so we
Yeah,
all learn from, each other. So definitely throw those in the comments.
for sure, for sure. But
But
yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
all right. So we will see you guys next week with another great topic. Stay cool if it's hot in your area, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.